This is the Big O Show. 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 This is
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zins Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zins Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Hialeah Park Casino is turning 10, and we're bringing you an anniversary bash like never before. See $1 million, win $1 million. Join us every Saturday in August, where 10 lucky customers will have a chance to take home $1 million. Snap a selfie with $1 million in cash, post it on social media, and get ready to win even more fantastic prizes. Come to Hialeah Park Casino's 10th anniversary celebration and make history with us. When you see $1 million, win $1 million.
viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Afternoon, boys and girls, ready to rock and roll from beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, sir. Appreciate all of you out there as always tuning in. Share the link so people can get on board. And, of course, subscribe and hit that notification bell here for the new channel, Big O Radio Show Live, because that's the only place you're going to catch the live show, okay? By the way, we have a new interview with Stephen Holder, Colts beat writer. We did that interview just a little while ago, a couple hours ago, and it hit the original platform, Big O Radio Show. This is live, Big O Radio Show Live. And so this is where you can catch it. And by the way, what we really need from a lot of you out there is watch hours on here. A lot of watch hours. We got to get to 4,000 watch hours before we are able to monetize this channel. Okay, so we need to watch it, man. Even if you're hanging around the house, play the shows over again or whatever. Just chalk up them hours, man, please. We need to get to 4,000 hours as soon as possible. So if you're hanging around the house, leave the computer on, leave the laptop on, leave it running with one of our shows or something like that. We appreciate it immensely. So hit the like button, of course, and share so people know that we've made just the live show, because it ruins the algorithm of everything else. Nobody does what we do. You know, everybody does it all pre-recorded, which you're going to get a lot of the stuff. We told you we'll have interviews here today. Franco Panizo is going to join us at 3:30 to talk about that amazing game last night by Inter Miami. That was just awesome. I'm watching the end of that game, okay, at Revolution Live, which, by the way, they had the AC on yesterday, Sean, which I didn't sweat like a whore in church, which was great. So they had the AC on, so I was able, and I'm watching Clutch, and Inter Miami with a clutch performance last night. That was awesome. So that was cool. That was really, really cool. Watched the first half at my house. The second half, I had it in the car, and then when I walked in, it was the end of the overtime, the extra time, and then the shootout after that. And Drake Calendar, need I say more? So Franco Panizo will join us at 3:30, and also Alan Poupart will join us at 4:30, okay? So we'll have interviews on the shows, but then you got to go to the regular platform because all the interviews are going to be there, and rants and breaking news, and the Dolphins pre- and post-game show will all be at Big O Radio Show normally. Here on this channel will only be the two live shows that we do, okay, which is this show daily and the Squared Circle Digest that Sean does with Frankie every Tuesday night. Tuesday, right? 8 o'clock? Friday this week. So tomorrow at 8 o'clock, you will be able to tune in right here to this channel and listen to and watch the Square Circle Digest with the one and only Sean Stanley and Frankie Fresco. So there you go. Donations, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo here on the platform at Cash Big O Show. Once we get to the 4,000 hours, then we can add Super Chat, right? And all that, right? So we got to get to the 4,000 hours. So really, time spent watching, very important. Please. So we need to get that quickly, man. So please help us there, because Sean and I we kind of do this for a living. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very important. Thank you all out there, as always, for your amazing support. And last night, wow. I mean, the coach changes up the formation. The first half is kind of like, I mean, they got dominated. They were getting dominated. And by the way, I got to give Cincinnati played some ball, dude. Okay. And 2 of their 3 goals were awesome. They were golazos. Okay. Props to Cincinnati. They played their asses off. Inter looked tired and beaten in that first half. They got dominated in that first half. And then they somehow woke up and all of a sudden started playing ball. Messi magic. And how about Leo Campana? Leo Campana was the star of this team before all these guys arrived. And for a lot of us, some of you that just got on the bandwagon, you don't share our frustrations with Leo Campana. But Leo was like, he came onto the scene 2 years ago, looked really good. They gave him a contract, which they should have because he looked good. And then he started getting injured all the time. And he just couldn't ever stay healthy. And, maybe I'm giving him bad luck now, but now he's been on this streak here lately where he has stayed healthy. We all know he can play because he showed it to us without Messi and Busquets and Alba and these guys on the pitch. He was already kicking ass. He was kicking ass before Joseph Martinez got here. So we all kind of saw like him and Drake were the real finds of the young guys. Now we've got Cremaschi. That's another one that they found now, that obviously. But, to his credit, Campana, we always knew he had the talent. The frustrating part was I guess he couldn't figure out his body or something. That happens with athletes. And he kept suffering setback after setback. And you're like, dude, come on, bro. They need you. And we've had this issue because him and Robinson is the one that just passed away. Robinson, who was the initial draft pick, he's been just a flat-out bust. Okay, he's kind of soft mentally, I think, too. He's not a very tough-minded kid. Maybe he just needs to grow up or something, but he never came through. And then so you're worried about Campana kind of following in the same footsteps, but you saw way more out of Campana than you ever did from this kid. And then now to see him over the last couple of weeks, and then to see what he did last night, that he was like the lead dog with both headers. I'm really, really happy for Leo Campana, man. I mean, really, really happy. And the second most important person on this team, we all know Messi's number one, but there is no argument, no discussion. Drake Callender is the second most important player on this football club, okay? I mean, that guy, I was standing there watching the clutch jam, and you know what I'm thinking? I'm going, it's time for Mr. Impossible. That's my name for Drake Callender, because he pulls the impossible all the time. At the third score of theirs, I said to myself, I go, man, where's Mr. Impossible? When's he going to step up? And sure enough, dude, that was awesome. That was awesome. When he got that block and that dude was crushed and he could not score the fifth goal. And then Cremaschi, all he had to do was come up and score that fifth goal, and it was over. And Inter Miami advanced. That was just so beautiful, dude. So beautiful. And again, kudos to Cincinnati. Jesus Christ. They were awesome. And they were fresh, too. They've been resting for weeks, dude. Inter Miami's been playing a game every other night. They've played like 62 games in like 5 nights. I don't know how this run continues. I mean, on Saturday, what do you do in New York? I know, and they play 3 days later, exactly. Like, I know the coach said after, hey, I got to start now, because, dude, Messi stayed on the pitch.
Yeah, for the
120 minutes, and you add extra time, it's well over 135.
They've got 11 games in 45 days. Once everything's done, they'll end up having 11 games.
Well, that's not bad. That's 4 or 5 days in between a game.
Yeah, but that's
not good, but it's not the worst. But you're gonna have to break it up now. You're gonna have to give Messi rest now, dude.
Because the next game that counts is the 27th.
Yeah, and I think remember they pulled Campana last night, and I think they did that because he goes, hey, kid, I'm going to need you next week.
Starting Saturday.
Yeah, you're starting Saturday. Messi's not. Messi will probably come off the bench at the 70th minute or something and give you a little juice or something. And by the way, the finals against Houston because they beat Real Salt Lake. Real Salt Lake lost a man. They were down to 10 men yesterday and won 3-1. I think Inter got the easier matchup out of the two between the Dynamo and Real Salt Lake. And yeah, we're home. Yeah, we're home too. But we got the easier matchup out of the two because Real Salt Lake is the better team. But it won't happen until the 26th, I'm sorry, Tuesday, 26th, which is the day before you and I take off to Vegas for the fight. And the week of the Bills game, which we will be doing our Bills pre and post game show in Las Vegas. In fact, we may travel a couple times now. If we don't find a bar as a home, we may end up traveling to a couple of events. So spoke to someone, and so who knows? MetLife Takeover. Maybe Sean and I can be there broadcasting at the MetLife Takeover. That would be absolutely awesome. Steven says Messi is a badass dude. Oh, Cincinnati is the best team in the MLS. Yep. They played so well last night. And they just put in 2 golazos that were just crazy, dude. I see Gus 1388 is in the house. He says, great interview with Stephen Holder. Thank you, sir. You guys can check it out with Stephen Holder. There you go. Billy Shaw is in. Brian Walters is in. He says, everyone, Inter Miami pulled it out last night. Yes, they did. JC Norval is in the house. If we don't go to the Super Bowl, I will go with you to eat hot dogs at Dairy Queen. We're going to the Super Bowl, JC. Barring those stupid injuries that happened last year, Super Bowl, bro. I really have a lot of confidence in this team. Just need some luck. That's all. Big ol' many blessings to you and Sean. You think trade Wilkins for Taylor or Alba and Wilkins? No. Wilkins will be re-signed. I don't think, unless it's a cheap deal, I just don't think the Taylor deal happens. Really, unless the Colts and Irsay and him hate each other so much that Irsay's like, I got to give this freaking guy away. I'm going to just give him away. If that's the case, then Miami has a chance. But if they're asking for real value for him, I don't see Miami giving it up. I just don't. I think they're going to try to get low-hanging fruit. That's what I keep telling you. So, it's just crazy. Eddie Lepp, Weapon X United is in the house. Isaiah, Alexis, Bromar, One-Eyed Jack says, good afternoon, Big O. Fins Nation, I can't watch long live today, but I had to stop in and smash the like button. Thank you. But remember, One-Eyed Jack, you can leave it going on. Walk away, leave it on. Watch hours, bro. Okay? So if you got to go out, leave the iPad going, bro. Just leave the show going, please. Doesn't it go from one show to another one of our shows after? Is it set up already? If you're set up, so it might go into another show of ours, and so let it go, One-Eyed Jack, please. At least for the next month and a half, please let it go. Let it go. After that, I'll give you guys the heads up when we're at the 4,000, and then then home free, and you're going to help us make a living. Put it that way. So thank you if you do that. Lisa Rose is in the house. She says, smash and dash from Cleveland. Dodgers 6, Guardians 1. Yeah. Hitting the like button. Thank you, Nyborg. Josh Hart is in. Troy Ortiz. So no Hard Rock. Yeah, no Hard Rock. Apparently, the greed was good. I mean, if it didn't happen, it's because they were asking for too much of a pie at the Hard Rock. That's all. And then the Moss brothers said, no, we'll keep the whole pie here. And that's all. Chuck Shannon, I am not going to the zombie show on Sunday. No, sir. But enjoy yourself because I've seen him a few times. Adolfo is in. Yes, replays. Yes, they count. Yes, they do, bro. Replays count. So you can watch them over and over again. It doesn't matter. It counts. So please watch whatever you can. Watch the next, even if you're not watching, walk away. You can do it that way. All right. Appreciate all of you out there. We ready to rock? All right, let's talk a little Inter Miami. Host of Miami Total Football. He is Franco Panizo. He's been covering, of course, Inter Miami from day one when it wasn't so sexy. Now
It's incredibly sexy. And there he is, looking sexy. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Really good, bro. I've been pushing the Fusion and Miami FC and then Strikers and then Inter and I'm like a kid in a candy store, bro. I'm like one of the few electronic media members that has always been a huge supporter of local soccer, and to watch that local soccer in Miami matters all around the world, not just South Florida. I'm like a kid in a candy store, dude. I am so happy that this sport is getting the love that it deserves here in South Florida and all over the world, bro. It's really cool.
It only took the greatest player of all time, arguably.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? You need watershed moments in order for things to catch on, for that to start that fire, as Billy Joe would say. And so, Messi starts that fire, and the question is now, Franco, do we have Gordon Geckos owning other MLS teams? And what I mean by that, if you didn't watch the movie Wall Street, then you don't know who Gordon Gekko is, and you don't know who Michael Douglas is, and the big speech when he said greed is good, and how he, that speech that's infamous in that movie. And so I'm wondering, other owners going, well, wait a minute, if we bring our own star, maybe we can add a third level to this stadium. All those kind of things start roaming through their minds. So will greed step in to the MLS because of what the Moss brothers have pulled off?
It's a good question. I mean, there's going to be more spending for sure. Now, how extreme that spending gets is, to be determined. I mean, MLS has always been a league that's done it slow and steady, as opposed to just going, from one extreme to the next. So
the Moss brothers don't know slow and steady.
Well, so that's, I imagine the rules are going to change. I just don't imagine they'll change super drastically. Like, I think there will be changes, and there'll be notable changes. I don't know if it'll be drastic though. And Don Garber recently was asked about this in an interview. I think it was before the Leagues Cup final, actually, if I'm not mistaken, over there in Nashville. Which I attended, and he was asked about that, and he kind of was like, oh, well, do we just blow it all up and start from scratch? I'm paraphrasing. Blow it all up and start from scratch, or do we continue to go through our process of slow and steady progress? Which, I mean, reading between the lines, it sounds like they're going to stick to their MO and do it their way, again, but noting that there will be changes. I mean, that's for sure that there's got to be changes coming up.
All right, before I get into all the beautifulness that happened yesterday, let me just ask you about the questionables part, because, you tweeted out at that first half, they got their asses kicked. They got absolutely dominated. Did Data have like this extra level of respect for Cincinnati, which, of course, they are the best team in the league. And by the way, they made 2 of their 3 goals were golazos. All right, so they played their asses off. They were really good yesterday. But why did he change the formation? Was it a respect factor that he feared their offense a little bit more, and that's why he needed more in the back line? Because obviously that took them out of sync. Plus, of course, playing 86 games in 5 nights doesn't help you either. They're dead tired. So walk me through the reasoning with all of that yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he talked yesterday post-game about, being mindful of their 3 forwards and trying to counteract that. And so he switched the formation. Now, I think he also switches the formation because of the personnel, right? Because he rested some players, and with that, new players came in, right? Like Tomas Aviles, the new Argentine center back. He started next to Sergio Christoph and Kamal Miller. Did he need to come in necessarily? I mean, they could have gone like for somewhere else, but I think he wanted to introduce new players into the fold, also take into account the opponent, and that led to the formation change. Now, it didn't work. I don't know if they got dominated in the first half. They just didn't play well in the first half. Like, it's not like, not like FC Cincinnati created a boatload of chances and Drake Callender was called upon to make a bunch of saves. It's just not the Inter Miami we've been used to seeing.
By the way, on this show, he's Mr. Impossible. Drake
Mr. Impossible.
Yeah, because he does the impossible. It's just who he is, bro. He comes up with a block when you need it. I mean, he is Mr. Impossible, bro. He's awesome. I mean, really,
he has come into his own this season, and
he's
especially in this last month. I mean, he's really shown the strides he's made, even like just on small things. Like I'm trying to think if it was the Nashville game.
dude,
I think it was last.
he's the second most important player on the team.
Well, last night I don't know about second most important player, but listen, Messi and Busquets make the team tick. If you don't have them,
you're not here without Messi, but you're also not here without Calendar. Let's just be
sure.
honest.
But I mean, Busquets isn't
I
sexy.
know. Busquets' passes are freaking. You know, he's an artist, bro. I love it, dude. Trust me. I know we've had no midfield play here for years. We had to use a guy on the left side in the first couple of years to be your point guard almost. There was no playing. So trust me, I embrace Busquets and Messi and the vision that they have. I love what I see from, but bro, without Calendar, oh my God, that guy's been awesome, bro. Awesome.
I mean, I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. I just don't know if he's the second most important player because without Busquets, Messi doesn't get the ball as much, and without Messi getting the ball as much, you're not any. But no, to the point. You know, his development. You can even see it in small things and like little things. You know, there's one play last night where he receives a pass, not under a lot of pressure, but you know, there's some Cincinnati players around him, and he on the one time with his his left foot, played it out to the right, which was not something you would see from Drake Calendar in the past. You know, he would struggle with passing out of the back. It's still not his strength. It's still not his forte, but you can see that he's getting better with it.
Yeah. All right. So last night, dude, dead legs and all, because you can tell that they're a little dragging already at this point. And by the way, Messi playing all 120 minutes plus the extra time, so it's like 130 minutes plus. Amazing for him to do that. Just the comeback, bro. It looks so bleak at 2-0. You know what I'm saying? I thought, you know, that was, brother, every time you think they can't paint a nicer picture, they come up with a new masterpiece. It's just awesome to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you can't count him out, man. You can't count him out. You know, it didn't look good at 2-0. You know, when that free kick happened, I was watching it from home, and I was like, all right, they got to score here. They have to score here. Like, they need to pull one back to give themselves a chance during this final quarter of an hour. And they scored, and then that gave them enough life to pull one in stoppage time with Messi, you know, orchestrating both of those assists, Campana getting on the end of it, which he wasn't asked, but, you know, he responded, right? He responded to the terrible miss he had in the final, in the Leagues Cup final, where he could have won the game, and he shoots it wide. So, you know, the fact that he was able to respond in that manner with 2 goals in his start, you know, kudos to him for bouncing back and not dwelling or sulking on a personal big miss a few days earlier. So, I mean, I've said this now for about a week or two, because Inter Miami's won some of these games without playing particularly well, right? Like Messi has his moments of magic, and it's, you know, it's jaw dropping and eye opening, and it's fascinating, and gets you off your seat. But the team at times hasn't played particularly well. That being said, I think that this team is going to be very difficult to beat when Messi is on the field, because even when they don't play well, they still manage to cause damage to opposing teams, and they still manage to get results, right? Like, if these were regular season games, they wouldn't have gone to extra time. They would have ended in draws, whatever. But those are still results away from home. Like, nobody has yet beaten this team. So, I mean, if you can do that without playing well, I mean, that speaks well to you, because then when you do play well, who's going to stop you? I mean, it's going to take literally near perfection from an opposing team to beat this team. Now, Messi and the like are likely to get some rest in the coming games, so that's a bit of a different story, because if Messi's not on the field, Busquets not on the field, I mean, you're talking about a different team. You're talking more of a team that was similar to the one, or more similar to the one that we saw during the first half of the MLS season, which is
although they made. Well, wait a minute, but you got the youngins that you're adding, the 20-year-olds. You're going to get Gregory back. You got Mota back. Martinez now is playing with a little bit more confidence, and everybody's playing with a little bit more confidence. And let me add something else: Campana is staying healthy, and you and I and the rest of the Inter fans, the original ones, not the bandwagon that jumped on now, but the original ones, we always saw that Campana had the skills, but he couldn't stay healthy. And last night's performance was outstanding, and his performance over the last couple of weeks and he's staying healthy. So if a healthy Campana and Martinez can be on the pitch, you can kind of defend yourself, and maybe this team will be a little better than the team that we were watching earlier this season. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of think
maybe a little bit better, but I mean, I feel like that's putting a lot on the shoulders of the newcomers, because I mean, who's going to create? Right? That was the team's problem before Messi got here, was who creates for the strikers, who's creating the plays and the chances. I mean, you take Messi out of that lineup, who's doing it? I mean, you're going to say Facundo Farias, for as much promise as he has, he's going to be that guy that's going to be the fulcrum of the attack and the catalyst that
you think Cremaschi can help out a little bit there in the midfield?
I mean, Cremaschi is just a hard worker, man. He provides you industry and range, and he's a ball-winning machine.
Just a facilitator of the play is what you're saying.
He's not a creator. He's not, although he did play a heck of a pass yesterday to Joseph Martinez for the assist, but that's not like his bread and butter, by and large, against a defense that's sitting, in an organized block, right? Like that's not who he is as a player, at least at this point in his career. So, I see it hard without Messi in them. For Inter Miami to keep that level.
They're not going to keep the level. I'm just thinking better than what we were watching prior. I just think with all the success they've had,
I mean, that will help.
Plus they have Taka. Yeah, bro. And if you get Gregory back, then that's also going to help your defense.
See, so I have questions about that, though. I have questions about that because, I don't know how well. I don't know if I put Gregory back into the starting lineup. Me personally, I don't know. Dixon Arroyo. Really? Dixon Arroyo fulfills his function. I think what they ask him for Dixon Arroyo, I think he's done a very good job quietly, but he's done what he's asked to do. I don't think Gregory, even though he's probably a better destroyer and a better, pit bull terrier in the middle of the park that's going to chase you down and win balls and tackle, I don't know if he gives you the same type of technical abilities on the ball to play in Tata style, which is to build out of the back and build up between the lines and then get to the final third and create chances. I don't know if Gregory has that in his repertoire. So, I'm curious to see what happens to Gregory. I mean, he hasn't been out at training the last couple of weeks. We haven't seen him. We had seen him at points for a little bit, but then as of late, haven't seen him out on the field, so I don't know if he's had a setback or if he's doing something else, or I don't know. We haven't got much information there yet, but be curious to see what happens when he does return to the mix for Inter Miami. For me, I don't know if he's an automatic shoo-in to return to the starting lineup.
All right, so they don't have the final until the 26th, so it's a long time. But dude, all these games now, it's Saturday and Wednesday, and they got so many games. What's Tata going to do? Are you expecting Messi to start, or are you expecting Messi to start and play a short time or come off the bench in the 70th minute or something like that? Because at one point or another, you're going to have to start resting Messi. I mean, I was so impressed that he has played all these minutes, dude. And last night he stayed on the pitch for the entire game. I have been really, he didn't come here to screw around. He is really playing with his teammates and supporting his teammates. I'm super impressed with that.
Yeah, Messi normally, when he starts, he doesn't come off. So it's par for the course for him in his career. I forget which game it was here early on in the Leagues Cup that he started in. He asked for the substitution because it was early on. He wasn't yet at the fitness levels he's at now. So he asked for the sub, which was a rare moment for him. And it, made the rounds on social media just because it's not common for him to come out or ask to be subbed out. I do think that he gets rested on Saturday, which I know is not going to be a lot of good news for New York fans and
I know, man. Yankees and the Mets.
Resellers and
the Yankees suck, the Mets suck, and now you get no Messi. Ha ha ha.
Well, I think he'll play. Maybe he'll come off the bench. You'll get him for 20, 25 minutes, but I don't think he starts. Last night I think you could tell. Yes, you give FC Cincinnati their props and their kudos and their respect for doing their job on him and not letting him score. It's the first team that has not let him score since he's arrived. That being said, he still got 2 assists. But you could see in extra time his impact faded, right? He almost wasn't on the ball very much in that extra time, and that's because you can tell he's tired. He's fatiguing. Those are heavy legs he's playing under. He's not the only one. I rewatched the Leagues Cup final a few nights ago, as I do with every Inter Miami game, to get a better analysis of it. And Busquets was mishitting routine passes that you expect him to make, and I think that just comes down to tired legs. And I asked Tata last night about Messi and the weekend and playing another game on short rest after such a heavy burden of games, a heavy load of games over the last few weeks. And Tata said, Leo, like many other players, is reaching a physical limit. From this point forward, we have to assess at least how we approach the next 3 games. So at least the next 2 games, to me, that tells me, listen, he's probably not starting this weekend. You'll likely see him. He'll probably still compete 20, 25 minutes, but Inter Miami's likely going to have to figure out a way to make do without him for much of that game.
Yeah, man. And by the way, did they get a break? Because Real Salt Lake is the better team, right? Than Houston.
No.
You don't think so?
No, Houston's got a little more difference-making ability, I think. The good news is for Inter Miami, they get to play at home, which is a major plus. It's not going to be a Hard Rock. It's going to be a dry state.
Lucho here is bragging about Carrasquilla, that they're going to have to worry about Carrasquilla.
Carrasquilla is one of the danger men, right? Inter Miami will go into that final a heavy favorite, all things considered. But, if there's one player to watch for on Houston, it's Carrasquilla for sure.
All right. So you think they're better than Real Salt Lake?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. All right. I like that. All right. When we look at what do you see ahead now? Are there any other moves left, or are they kind of tapped out for this season?
They're tapped out. I think that the window's closed. They could sign a free agent, but I think that they're tapped out. This is the team the rest of the way. Tata's even talked about we have the whole group in now. So I don't think there's any more additions. I do think Luis Suarez will be here in 2024. It's not inside information. It's just my sensation and supposition from the outside. I think he'll be here, and he'll add another dynamic up top. What that means for Campana and or Joseph Martinez, to be determined. I don't think they'll both be back next year, but now we'll see how the season finishes, how they both do, if they keep up, how they played, if they can repeat how they played.
What's the contract situation with Joseph and Campana? Campana's got a multi-year deal, right?
Yeah, but you can sell him. You can sell it. It's MLS. There's also MLS. You could trade him. You can, Joseph Martinez.
I just have a hard time watching them give up on Campana. I can see them trading Joseph because he's a little older.
Well, Joseph's deal, I think, is through this year, and then there's an team option for next year. So, okay. I don't know if he sticks around. But again, it just depends because, Messi's had a good relationship with him on the field. They seem to get along well off the field. That being said, Joseph Martinez does command a good bit of money, which, unless rules change drastically between now and then, going back to the initial question, then how do you afford to keep Joseph, right? When you have 3 DPs, you're probably going to bring in Suarez. So, we'll see how it all unfolds. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out. But
will they give everybody in the league ear protectors with Suarez there?
I think those days are behind them, although you never know.
Okay, all right. I don't know. He's kind of like an infant, with all the biting and stuff. So it's you got to be careful with Suarez. It's ears. Be careful. All right, around. All right. So, do they win on Saturday?
No, I think it's the first loss since
Messi.
Messi
Wow, so the Mets suck, the Yankees suck. They don't get Messi, and they lose. That's awesome. Kind of like that.
No. I think Inter Miami loses. I think the Red Bulls win.
Oh no, I don't want to hear that. Really? Wow. Damn.
That's what I think.
So this whole crunch, while it's been a blessing, you've put yourself in position to win 2 trophies. You've won 1 already. Has it been a curse? Because it could be what stops you from making the MLS playoffs because of the burden that you have put on your bodies to get there.
I don't know if it's a curse. They won the first trophy in franchise history, which is significant enough.
The blessing is winning the trophies. It
was always an outside chance to make the playoffs.
Is it a curse? Is it a curse that you had to crunch all those games in a short amount of time? And then it puts a burden on you because, dude, you gotta play near perfect to get into the MLS playoffs. That's why I say it's
No, I
kind of
understand. I understand what you're saying. I mean, I just like I don't view it the same way because like the playoffs were a long shot from the beginning. They were a long shot, and Tata Martino recognized that when his initial press conference when he signed on. You know, he said
shit,
the
but they've
playoffs
won
are
8 in a row. How can it be a long shot now at this point, dude?
sure, but a lot of those games were at home. And listen, 3 of those games they won via penalty kicks, or they advanced via penalty kicks.
They
Right?
have who?
There's no
No,
penalty kicks in the regular season. There's no penalty kicks in the regular season.
But
So
they have who? They have Mr. Impossible. So you can't be surprised with that.
but there's no penalty kicks in the regular season. So if the game ends in a draw, then they at one point that's not helping them make up a whole lot of ground. They have to win 8 to 9 out of the remaining 12 games, which is a massive task. I mean, there's also games going to be played during the international breaks over the next 2 months. Messi, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, will miss at least one game because Inter Miami will play through one of those international breaks. So that's one game he's not going to be around for. You got to take into consideration he's going to get rested in some other games. I mean, 8 to 9 wins out of 12 is a high barometer. And yes, they've played well during this last month and a half, but that's with Messi starting every game. That's with a lot of games being at home, not as much travel. And again, there's games that they've won via penalty kicks that ended in a draw in regulation. So if it was regular season, that's just 1 point. So not a chance to continue on it and advance and win and have the trauma that we've seen. So it's always a tough ask. It was always going to be a tough ask. And I mean, listen, it's not impossible. To use your word, it's not impossible. Is it likely? I mean, I don't think so. I think winning 2 cups would be satisfactory enough for where this team was, a couple months ago.
Amen.
Now,
Amen.
if going into 2024 with, a full preseason under your belt, Messi being there from the start, et cetera, then I think, yeah, of course you have to make the playoffs. Of course you need to be a contender.
God, yes.
For the MLS Cup.
Please.
Absolutely. But
You better make the
this
playoffs.
yeah, but this year, I mean, they're going to go for it. They're going to do their best, but I just think it's a long shot.
Next year, you better not just make the playoffs. You better be one of the top 2
They got to be a
seeds.
contender. They got to be a contender.
You got to be a top 2 seed, bro. Period. Not
Realistically,
3.
they should win.
1 or 2.
Realistically, next year it's win or bust. Because I mean, it's MLS Cup or bust. Because I mean, that's the talent level that they have. I mean, they have a great coaching staff. I mean, there's no excuse. There's no reason for them not to be hoisting that trophy. There's other good teams, but the expectation should be next year that they win MLS Cup.
It's going to be awesome. All right, follow him on Twitter at Franco Panizo. Tell them about Miami Total Football and where they can watch and subscribe.
Yeah, it's the podcast. It's now a video podcast. So we do this type of thing now on YouTube at MIA Total
Took
Football.
you a long time. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with you? Come on.
It took me a while to get with the program. But now I'm having a different dilemma, which I actually enjoy the video aspect much more because it's live and I don't have to do any post-production and all this other time-consuming stuff that the podcast did. And I love the social interaction with people that are tuning in live and commenting. I love that. But now I'm having a hard time finding co-hosts who can consistently be on because everyone's got like their other things pulling at them and now they can't be on live and they got to do their makeup or their whatever. So now it's proving a little bit more difficult in that regard. I want to do a show tonight, but no one's around to do one tonight. So I'm like, well, how are we not going to do one between, this big comeback that led to another final and Saturday's game? But it looks like it might not happen. So that's the one challenge I'm finding. I guess I'm gonna have to go solo like you.
Hey, brother, 33 years of it. You can do it, man. You can grind it out. There's nothing wrong with that. Just keep grinding and keep working at it, and you'll fine tune it, and you'll be fine on your own. It's not a big thing. Just got to work at it. That's all it is. So make sure you all subscribe to Miami Total Football so you can keep up with Inter Miami. Franco does an excellent and objective job. So make sure you follow him on Twitter also at Franco Panizo. Franco, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you immensely.
Thank you, bro. Good to talk to you.
You got it. There you go. Franco Panizo getting it done for us right here on the program. Talking a little Inter Miami. Great win last night. God, that was a lot of fun. Calendar is just a freaking stud, dude. Freaking stud. By the way, our 3A Graphics Sports Calendar. And by the way, you can call my guy, Alan Blanco. Make sure you reach out to him, 786-251-3404. They're at 980 West 22nd Street in Hialeah. And for custom printing and embroidery, they are going to be doing a lot of our stuff. So that's coming up very soon. Last night, Inter Miami obviously defeated Cincinnati in the U.S. Open Cup semifinals to get to the finals. The finals will be Tuesday, September 26th, and that'll be at Drive Pink Stadium. It'll be Inter taking on Houston. That'll be at 7 o'clock, folks. Okay. Saturday, Inter's back in action. Now it's MLS play. This is Messi's debut in the MLS, and it'll be in New York taking on the Red Bulls at 7:30. All right. So that you got that going on. Marlins lost to the Padres last night 4-0. They lose the series. Sandy with another shitty game, 6 1/3, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 Ks, and he destroyed half the dugout because he was pissed. Oh, the team don't score runs for me. Yeah, okay, dude. You also have sucked most of the year too, so relax. I know the team doesn't score. You allow too many scores. But anyway, they are off today. Tomorrow they start a set against the team they can beat, the Nationals. Remember when they were 14 games over 500? They're now 65 and 63. It's a shame that everything ends up happening the way it normally does, unfortunately. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. I like it. Listening in between a doubleheader game, says Lisa Rose. That is awesome. Thank you, Lisa. That is very kind of you. Very kind of you. Carlos Sanchez says, just got here. I'm catching up at 1.75 speed. Anyone talk about the possibility of trading Ced to the Broncos? Nobody's talked about that. And we'll see if something like that comes up. Hopefully, I'm sure they're trying to unload Cedric if they can. We'll see. We'll see if it's a deal. What? What are you going to say? What did you say?
I'm guessing that's in reference to Jerry Jeudy. He got carted off the field today.
Oh,
with the
yeah.
hamstring.
I don't know. But then again, how serious is the Jerry Jeudy? We don't even know. It might not even be that serious. Again, being carted off, as we've learned, it's not necessarily means that, it's over for you. So we'll see. We got till 4:30. Okay. Tua Tagovailoa. Let's talk a little bit about Tua yesterday. We got the videos ready there. Tua yesterday addressed the media and addressed Ryan Clark's comments. Okay, and obviously we don't have the one with Ryan Clark's initial comments, right? We just have the apology, right? But you guys know about what he said initially and comparing him to Atlanta stripper and that he looks thick and that he wasn't working out, and it was just, and we talked about it yesterday. It was just, ridiculous. It reminded me, like I told you, a lot of the Florio stuff. When his stupidity, he's 195, and it's like, yo, bro, if you're not down here, don't talk about something that you have no information about. Because if you hang around to it, he's not 195, that kind of shit. And so he says this, and it's irresponsible because it's obvious. And I go to camp, Sean goes to camp. We stand literally next to Tua in press conferences. And you could tell that he's been working out. You can tell that he's got a bigger body. It's not a fat body like mine. It's, a worked out body. You know what I'm saying? My body is not a worked out body. His is. You can tell. And so it was, uncalled for, to be quite honest. And first of all, let's go over Tua's reaction yesterday. Okay? Let's go over the first one where he's basically talking about somebody talking about him and how weird that is, right? So here's Tua addressing the Ryan Clark comment. Go ahead.
Ryan's been out the league for some time, so I don't know. It's a little weird when other people are talking about other people when they're not that person. So I don't know. It's just a little weird. I come back. I like my background is. Like, I come from a Samoan family. Like, respect is everything. But, it does get to a point where, hey, little easy on that, buddy. Because, You know, I think we're pretty tough-minded people, and if we need to get scrappy, we can get scrappy too. Just saying.
Is he such a nice guy that you look at him like he's not a tough guy? And I don't know how many times I have to say it over the years. This is a tough son bitch. He's just a decent human being, dude. He just does the things that you and I will never do. He just acts like a decent human being. And there's just a lot of people, most of including me, that maybe we can't do that all the time. We lose our cool, we say things that are hurtful to somebody, we do something hurtful. You know, we're imperfect beings. This guy's pretty close to, you know, being perfect. And then because he's such a nice guy, this is why you don't see him as a tough guy. But tough people bust their hips and come back to play in the NFL 10 months later. That's a tough person. Okay? That's an incredibly tough person. Somebody that busts up both ankles and says, you know, I don't want this to ever happen again. Let me get a titanium rod installed in there because I intend on doing this shit over and over again. I don't want my ankles to bust anymore. You know, the things that guy does. He played with broken ribs and a broken finger. And in his first year, he threw a 50-yard pass with a screwed up knuckle. And then people would say, oh, he can't throw a deep ball. But did you watch him? Like, he had broken ribs and a screwed up knuckle, and he just threw a 50-yard pass to Waddle. Was it a dart? No. It had some air on it. I get it. But did you see how debilitated he was? I mean, you know, this is a tough son bitch. Now, just because he's not out there acting like Lawrence Phillips doesn't tell you that he can't be intimidating like Lawrence Phillips was, because he was always angry and he wasn't a good person. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. And here's Tua again discussing the Ryan Clark comment with the media. Go for it,
I
Sean.
mean, I think we all worked hard throughout the offseason. And I'm not someone to talk about myself the entire time, but I mean, it takes a lot. You think I wanted to build all this muscle? Like, nah, to some extent, like I wanted to, you know, I wanted to be a little lighter. There's a mixture of things that people don't understand, that people don't know about, that are talked about, that go behind the scenes. So, you know, I'd appreciate if you kept my name out your mouth. That's what I'd say.
About what Tua had to do was he's doing something he doesn't want to do. Because he wants to play at his normal weight like he's played all his life. And he wants to have a little bit maybe more flexibility, mobility. I don't know. But he has no choice, right? He has to bulk up the upper part of his body because he suffered a couple of head injuries. So stiffen up that neck and those shoulders so you can control yourself a little bit more. And then learning the jiu-jitsu, which learning how to fall. And as a judo guy, I know exactly what he's doing because I learned all that stuff myself too. You know, so I respect anyone that has to do anything and whatever it takes to be great at your craft. Whether you're a carpenter, whether you're a salesman, whether you're a head coach, whether you're a producer, you know, it's the same thing. Whether you're a host and you're trying to get ideas from other people to better your show, or you're going to extremes that other people won't do, like go cover events, you know, things like that. I'm sure Sean has to do the same thing as a producer, trying to find out different ways to do things to improve the show. We all do it, right? If we give a shit about what we do, we actually try to get better at it. We try to be the best we can at our craft. That's all Tua was doing. And Ryan, obviously, uncalled for and uninformed. And so that's why it comes off bad. It doesn't come off good as a joke because you're uninformed and it sounds ignorant. Now, I've always been a Ryan Clark fan, I got to tell you. And you know, it took a little hit yesterday, but I got to tell you, I'm back on the bandwagon full force with him. I like him, and I respect the hell out of him as a man because he apologized to Tua the way you're supposed to apologize, not some half-ass apology. I don't know if any of you watch the Lakers show, the whatever it's called. I forgot what it's called now, but the one on It's Showtime. It's called Showtime, right? I think it's called Showtime. And it's season 2 now. I'm not going to give away much, but there's an apology moment in season 2, and you see the apologies between the two guys, and it's kind of half-ass apologies. And they're half-ass apologies, and they're acting like it's half-ass apologies. That's what good actors do. You could tell that what Ryan Clark did yesterday was not half-ass. You can tell that he took it to heart. He realized what he did and then apologized to Tua. And by the way, to all of you out there and all the people that are kind of connected to Tua, please play his apology. Mad props to Ryan Clark. This is how you apologize to another man when you are truly remorseful. Fire away.
Yesterday, Tua Tagovailoa had to answer questions about something I said on Monday, something that I truly just felt like was a joke to me. That I've realized as the week has gone on, if this man has to answer questions about it, if so many Miami Dolphins fans are offended by it, then people ain't taking it as a joke. So let me be very clear. If I've offended you, Tua, if I've hurt you, if I've disrespected you, if anybody that supports and loves you feels some sort of way because of what I said, I truly apologize. I had 2 priorities when I started this job. Number 1, respect the players and the executives and the coaches that make this game run. Number 2, it was earn the respect of those very same people, and more importantly, keep it. Anything contrary to that, then I gotta check myself. Now, don't get me wrong, my ego was involved. When Tua was asked about how he felt about these comments, and he said, keep my name out your mouth, yeah, my first thought is, or what? Or when he says he's scrappy, I think to myself, man, I fed my family on violence. I ain't tripping on that. But that's the pride that doesn't enable me to see what this dude's going through. The constant criticisms, the constant scrutiny, constantly being questioned, feeling the stress of always having to prove yourself, just to show people you can be available. And then you work throughout the entire offseason, which I talked to his trainer and said that man was in there 3 times a day to build himself up to be healthy. And you got to hear a comment like this. So I get it. I get it because I do want to respect Tua Tagovailoa. I get it because I want his respect too. So to the Miami Dolphins, to head coach Mike McDaniel, who I have a ton of respect for, but most of all, to Tua Tagovailoa and his family, I deeply apologize. I've reached out. I hope to talk to you soon, brother. But just know, I wasn't questioning the way you work. I wasn't questioning how much it mattered to you. It was what I can consider now a bad joke. But for me, it's been a lesson. I'll be better. Thank you.
I don't know what more I don't really know what more you can do. Props to him. I mean, that's how you apologize, dude. You were wrong. You admitted you were wrong. You are really honest about being wrong. He was so honest that he even said when Tua was like, hey, we're scrappy people, and he's telling you, oh, well, that's not the part that I'm tripping on, and I'm a tough guy myself and all that. But then he took a step back and he realized what he was doing, because then Tua has to answer all these questions. And then he also, noticing the thing where he mentioned that he called Nick Hicks. He talked to his trainer. So, and Nick's a good dude, man. I got to, we've had him on the show. I talked to him on the plane. I talked to him over at, what was it? Was it the East West? Was it that I was at, or was it the Senior Bowl? I forgot which one where I ran into him. But anyway, and so I ran into him in the offseason. He's a good dude, man. And so he took the time to talk to his trainer too. So, when people don't give a shit about giving you an apology and they just give you a half-ass, they don't go to these extremes ever. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of respect goes to Ryan Clark because, hey, man, we're not perfect. But as long as we're willing to admit that we're not perfect and we're going to make mistakes, then I think people can accept it. You know what I mean? Even if you hurt somebody, you know, it's got to prove that you actually mean what you say. That's all. What you got for me, Sean? Were you going to say something?
Are you done with the serious stuff here? Because I have a conspiracy.
Yes, go for it.
On the apology.
We're done. Let's go.
Who's one of the most craziest fan groups? It's 2-9, right?
Yeah, they're the best right tackle in the
All
NFL.
right, so he's apologizing. Do you notice what he's wearing?
Oh, I didn't realize. What was he wearing?
The Pivot Podcast shirt.
Plugging it, huh?
Y'all plugging it all the way.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there. Just
Okay.
throwing it out there.
Okay.
Maybe he meant it. Or
I
maybe
think-
he
I
knew
think he meant
it was going to go
Nah.
and get a lot of publicity.
I think he meant
I know he did.
anything Tua is going to get a lot of publicity.
That's what I'm saying, though. And it just so happened he happened to be wearing the Pivot
Yeah.
Podcast pullover
And
sweatshirt.
I'm sure he got some shit from the 2-9.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
The 2-9 probably.
Now,
went
whether he
after him.
paid attention to it or not, I guarantee you he was blown up by 2-9.
Yeah, but we are the best right tackle in the NFL because I'm part of 2-9. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's not a matter of me believing in the kid and convinced that he's a good player. It's just the unfair shit that goes on with him. I'm tired of it, bro. I have to defend the kid. It makes me sick to my stomach that they put that young man through a whole bunch of crap when he doesn't deserve it. You know what I mean? And especially the first 2 years having to deal with Flo. Oh, brother, that's the kind of shit that pisses me off. You know, for sure. Having to deal with Flo, get the hell out of here, man. That's nuts. Dolphins signed linebacker A.J. Johnson. They waived Mike Rose, and they waived injured safety Miles Dorn. His dad, who played for, the minors in Major League and the Cleveland Indians, Richard Dorn, he's going to be pissed off that Miles got cut. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So Dorn's going to be pissed. That's all I can tell you. What else do we have going on? Oh, and by the way, can I give you all a prediction on what's going to happen if it? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me give you a prediction on what could happen. Okay. If by some crazy notion, which I don't think that is really going to happen, I could see them trading for Jonathan Taylor. I really can't see them giving him a big contract. If he takes a reasonable contract, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'd be shocked if they give him some big-ass contract or they trade significant draft capital or anything for him. I don't think any of that is going to happen. Like I told you, low-hanging fruit. But let's just say, by chance, he gets a big-ass contract. The topic will be what is going on with Chris Grier and why the hell is he paying a running back when nobody pays running backs? He should be fired. Isn't that guy coming off an injury right now and Grier paid him all that money? Why is Grier paying an injured? Why does he like to bring on injured players? Like we're not nobody's chiming in that Jonathan Taylor's injured. None of that. None of it. I don't even get a lot of, no way, dude, you don't trade for Jonathan Taylor. I don't even get a lot of that either. But I'm telling you, they're waiting in the woodwork. They're just hiding. They're just waiting. That's all they're waiting. They're waiting so they can pounce. Oh, Tua throw an interception. Pounce. That's kind of the way it is. It's ridiculous, dude. It really is. Huh? Oh, Roger Dorn. Okay. You said Richard. Roger. Richard.
That's the
whatever.
producer's fault, by the way, not ours. I told him.
It's all good. Whatever.
And he bought the team, too, so imagine that happens. Ross sells the Dorn.
Pat in Nashville says Ryan Clark's apology was nice. Why can't more people do that these days? Always has to be doubled down, especially in politics. Yeah, definitely. Then Steven says Clark didn't mean the apology. Oh, he sounded sarcastic. He's full of crap. He's there on the bar eating right now, Steven. Big O, I hear you about chances that our Finns trade for JT. However, it seems that all the Miami media, Omar, Barry, Jay, Poupart, are making a lot of noise about this. They're making noise that they're interested. Do they tell you the level of interest? Do they tell you what they're actually trying to offer? No, right? Okay. Look, dude, not for nothing, but I don't do this for views and clicks. I just don't. I don't do the I'm trying to be the dramatic guy just so I can get more clicks and more views and sell papers, and I don't need to do any of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to go to the drama. And this is why I'm not as fun as some others hosts out there. You can go find the guy that's full of piss and vinegar and just wants to rip into Tua and the Dolphins, and I'm sure they're going to get tons of views and tons of followers. You can go find the person that's a complete homer and will give you the pom-poms and all that, and you'll get plenty of views and plenty of homers to follow you. I'm the guy in the middle. If it deserves to get ripped, we'll rip it. If it deserves to get praised, we'll praise it. If we think it's going to happen, we'll tell you. If it's not, we'll tell you. But we're not going to go somewhere where, let's make it more exciting. Let's make it more dramatic than what it really is. And then I have to honestly go over the entire offseason and keep reminding you that nobody's paying running backs. No one pays running backs anymore. No one is even trading for running backs. So I don't know if the media wants to remind you of these things to kind of keep you level-headed, but they'd rather keep you excited and tease you. Because in the end, none of them are saying anything that isn't wrong. Of course they have interest. But what kind of interest is it? And that's the difference between most of them and me. And I'll tell you what the interest is. You know, they'll sell you, they're interested in trading for Dalvin Cook. And I told you, no, they're not. If they trade something for Dalvin Cook, it'll be like a 6th rounder or something. And then when they're going to release him, the Dolphins are going to pounce on him. Remember that? What did I tell you? No, they're not. They're going to offer him a team-friendly deal. If he wants to come, he will come. Now, a lot of you were so excited. Miami guy, Dalvin Cook. Oh, no, we've got to have him. You're wrong, they'll offer him money. This is how it goes, man. And so if you want the show that is going to hype you up all the time for stuff, and they don't know what's going to happen, then go ahead, man. Go for it. But that's just not who I am. And so I'm going to remind you that his track record is he doesn't pay for running backs. His track record is he doesn't really trade high picks for running backs. So that's why I'm kind of telling you, and there's no serious insight on this one, by the way. It's not like people are telling me in the building about this or that. No, I'm just kind of going off their track record. Their track record is they're not really interested in paying anything significant for a running back. It's pretty simple. That's all. And then I pointed out that he pays corners, he pays tackles, he pays pass rushers, he pays number 1 wide receivers, and he'll pay his quarterback. That's what he pays. That's the track record. I'm sorry. And now if the rest of the media doesn't want to write or tell you on radio or tell you on television, local, national, the entire story and tell you exactly what the history is and what the tendencies are, or when I do have insight, which I've done it many times here, and I give you the story before it even happens, what do you want me to do? So this is just not the show that's just going to give you bullshit just because that's what you want to hear. Not the way it's played. I'm sorry. I really am. Is this possible move for Taylor all in push coming from Ross? Since this is probably our last best chance at a championship. Here's the thing, Troy. I don't think that getting Jonathan Taylor makes you any closer to a championship. Let's talk about that. Okay? Let's talk about that. So you're not an offense that's going to run one guy. You're going to run several guys. You're a passing offense, not a running offense. Like some guy goes, oh, come on, with Hill and Waddle, he can get 2,000 yards. No, he can't, because there are no more bell cows. So they're not going to use him as a bell cow. So why are you going to pay him like a bell cow? And getting Jonathan Taylor doesn't make you any closer to a championship. If the line can't block, Jonathan Taylor can't do shit. If Tua doesn't stay healthy, Jonathan Taylor doesn't do shit. If the defense doesn't ball out, Jonathan Taylor doesn't do shit. Just go check all the championships over the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years. They're not carried by running backs anymore. They're carried by quarterbacks and passing games. Wide receivers are way more important than running backs. Running backs are interchangeable. And again, it's just something that I don't know if some of you really are not paying attention to what's going on in the league. In fact, I would be more critical of Chris Grier and the Dolphins if they actually paid big money to Jonathan Taylor. How do you like that? Because I don't think your running game is the problem. Your problem last year is injuries on your line and the fact that your head coach did not commit himself to the running game when he should have. So it was more about other things, not really the players. Because you had 3 running backs average over 4.5 yards a carry. Your top 3 running backs averaged over 4.5 yards a carry. That doesn't sound like a problem to me. That's the other misconception out there. Jonathan Taylor doesn't get you anywhere closer to a championship at all. Because he's not the most important thing in order to win a championship. It's Tyreek and Waddle. It's Tua. It's the O-line. It's the defense. It's the coach. The running back, dude. They went with Isaiah Pacheco last year, dude. A 7th rounder that they picked up off the street. Tampa won a couple years ago with Leonard Fournette. He didn't carry anything. He didn't carry the groceries. Forget the running game. Running backs don't carry you anymore to championships. You're living in the early 2000s and the 90s and all that kind of stuff. And by the way, some of you that are old, you better learn how to adjust and watch what's going on because the game's changed. This isn't about handing it off to Emmitt Smith and Emmitt Smith and Emmitt Smith. And by the way, how's it worked out the last few years with just Derrick Henry? How's that offense worked out for you? How's it worked out for Lamar Jackson and his running offense? You better pass, baby. You want to win? You pass. You don't run. Run just complements. It's not the important cog to winning. It's just a cog, is what it is. It's not the engine, it's a cog. Put it that way. It's not even a piston. Might be a side belt. So I just wish that you guys would kind of look at what's really happening in front of you with the game, and then you'll see. So I can see them having interest. I just don't think they're going to pay a high price for it. That's all. So if they want to give him away, and if Taylor wants to take a reasonable pay cut, then yeah, I can see it happening. But if he's looking for big guarantees and if they're looking for big compensation, not high. I almost feel like this is a mean joke that they're playing on Jonathan Taylor. You know that? That's almost like I feel it's a mean joke because they've played this mean joke on Aaron Jones and Joe Mixon. Take a pay cut or we cut you. Dalvin Cook, we no longer need you. We got Alexander Madison. Oh, Saquon? Oh, you want? Nah, we're not giving. We'd rather give it to a mediocre quarterback, the big deal, not you. Oh, we'll give you $900,000. There you go, buddy. There's your incentives. You know? So I'm watching this mean joke. Josh Jacobs was a monster last year. Nobody will give him money. Derrick Henry wants out. Nobody will trade for him. So I got to go by what's going on. It's just no respect for that position. And giving big contracts, people are getting burned left and right for giving big contracts. San Fran only did it because they don't have to pay a quarterback and they had no choice. They had to surround the 7th round pick with everything possible in order for him to have success. Man, we don't even know if Brock Purdy can come back and even have the same kind of success this coming year. We'll see. Now that they have film on him, we'll see how he responds. Might have been just a complete mirage what he did last year. You never know. All right, let's take a quick break here. Give me a couple minutes. Alan Poupart's going to be here. He's going to join us. We'll talk a little Miami Dolphins right here on the Big O Radio Show live from Hialeah Park.
You know, I tell you guys all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro, man, and what they did with our backyard and made it a pure oasis. That's our Sylvester tree right there. A beautiful day, providing a ton of sunshine. We've got one exactly like this out in the front yard, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's Bono hanging around on the artificial turf. What's up, Bono? What's the word, baby? There you go, wagging that little tail. Maiden, there she is. Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? There you go. So we got the doggies hanging out. So just want to give you a little, we got some of the trees starting off from this way with the artificial turf. You see, there's Ziggy again, of course. Got it all the way. And look, we got some flowers coming out. That tree now will start to also spring, and it's absolutely beautiful too. So got all that, they can do all kinds of things for you in your backyard to kind of make it an oasis, which is what we've done. And obviously the dogs can play. What's up, Bono? I got him there hanging out. Maiden. There she is. There she is. The one and only. She's mean as a skunk, by the way. Just want you to know. She's awesome with us, but I mean, if you're a stranger, you don't want to meet Maiden. So as you can see, and then the artificial turf, remember, there's no watering. There's no cutting the grass. It looks fabulous like this the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Back here in this corner is where we put the barbecue. I wheel it out, cook, then I wheel it back in. See, looks beautiful, doesn't it? Flowers are coming out. It's awesome. And then when I want to play a little golf, there's my putting green down the side, which is a beautiful thing. There's one of the holes all the way to the other side where Bono is at. All lights up. It's really beautiful when it lights up. See, we got the rough. Got several. Got one on that side. Got one over there in the corner where Bono's leaving. Got rough all over the place, man. Just in case, you get the ball trapped in there. That's it. That's another swing. Right, Maiden? So, check it out, cuttersedgepro.com. Make your home an oasis. Make your business, your HOA complex, condominium, you name it, they got you, bro. They do it all. All right? Then cut your trees down, and the artificial turf, I swear by it. Really easy to maintain, and it looks just absolutely freaking beautiful. Cutter's Edge Pro. Right, Ziggy?
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Hialeah Park Casino is turning 10, and we're bringing you an anniversary bash like never before. See a million, win a million. Join us every Saturday in August, where 10 lucky customers will have a chance to take home $1 million. Snap a selfie with $1 million in cash, post it on social media, and get ready to win even more fantastic prizes. Come to Hialeah Park Casino's 10th anniversary celebration and make history with us. When you see a million, win a million.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
And welcome back, folks. Appreciate all of you out there as always. Thank you all for reaching out. Remember, if your company wants to be a part of our platform, you can reach out to our business line at 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Remember, you can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. You can also make a Bitcoin donation too through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. Always appreciate that. What else do we have going on? James Vivinetti says Barry's reporting that they are talking compensation, so you would have to think that the Finns have already talked with Taylor and his agent about the money. Yeah. So it all depends. If his agent and the player are willing to take less, I can see them doing something. And the compensation has to be, like I told you, it can't be anything serious. They're not going to give up. At least that's what's been the history. They don't give up stuff. Okay? So that's all I can tell you. I don't think it's going to end up happening when it's all said and done. Unless there's something we don't know, like, that Taylor and the owner are, like, at some serious odds. Like, there's some serious hate there. Which I don't know if that's the case or not. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? So it's a weird dynamic, ladies and gentlemen. But in the end, he's not the reason why you're going to win anything, to be quite honest. He'll make you a better team, no doubt, but if you're going to win something, it's the other pieces that are going to be much more important. Big O, can you predict a position that is big now that might get treated like the running back position 5, 10, 15 years down the line? Karun, I have no idea. That's a great question, and I don't know what's going to happen down the line. God. I don't know. I mean, the fullback's been phased out. It's very little fullbacks now. Running back's been phased out. I don't know. Because tight ends and receivers are going to be important. Quarterbacks are always going to be important. O-line's always going to be important. You know, the return game's also been kind of phased out in the kicking area because of the way they do things. So kick returner is not nearly as important as it used to be. I don't know. Yeah, fly around a little bit more, maybe. Yeah, that 2-down linebacker. Yeah, it's a limited guy because there's a lot of run game involved. So yeah, you're right. You're right. Poop pop in already? Did I hear Poop pop in? Poop popped in. All right, let's do it. All right, let's get to a little Miami Dolphins talk with our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Alan Poupart.
Dolphins fans, time to get insight on your favorite team with your favorite reporter with an Expos hat. Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
There he is.
There you go. You have to unmute yourself.
Yes. Yes, you do. Are you unmuted now, young man?
No, you were muted, not me. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. All right. Well, then, Sean, what's wrong with you? Jesus.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, brother. So let's get to it. Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I don't really think it ends up happening because I think they want low-hanging fruit when it's all said and done. So that's kind of been their MO. I don't expect them to pay a high price. The question is, do the Colts just want to give them away? And that's the part I don't know. If they want to give them away, then maybe the Dolphins do have a chance. That's the question.
What's your definition of giving them away? They're not giving them away for a 7.
No, here's my definition of giving them away. I'll give you Needham. I'll give you Mostert and a 4th rounder, and we make the trade. They need a back. They need a defensive back. They need a running back because they're giving you a back and you give them a 4th round pick. I can see something like that. I don't see a 1st or 2nd rounder going that way. That's what I don't see. I don't see a big pick going that way. Put it that way.
Okay, I have a hard time the Colts wanting anything to do with Needham. Nothing personal, but right now he's hasn't started practicing. How about
you're not going to give him Cam, bro? I mean, you know.
No. Would we be okay with the 2 and Jeff Wilson?
I don't think they would want Jeff Wilson, but sure. I mean, I don't know about a 2. I don't even think a 3 in Jeff Wilson. Yes, I don't think they give up a 2. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they give up a 2 because I don't even think they're going to give up big money to him either. So he must be agreeing to some kind of a reasonable contract because they can't afford to give a top-end contract with everyone they have to pay. It's a luxury. They don't need Jonathan Taylor, bro.
Well, but
that's the thing.
But here's the thing. Technically, they don't, except ever since they re-signed their 4 running backs from last year, they've been linked to Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift, Josh Jacobs, and now Jonathan Taylor. So at some point, I think we have to believe that they don't necessarily need him to have a good offense, but maybe they're thinking, this is where I go back to having an 83-year-old owner who has a major success in real estate, hasn't had that kind of success as an owner who badly is jonesing for a Super Bowl title or a Super Bowl run, who may be telling Chris, listen, I want you to go all out, do what can be done. And, if you can get that kind of player, go for it.
Yeah, I just don't think Chris gives a shit about that because obviously, first of all, Stephen Ross doesn't know football at all. He's pretty clueless when it comes to football. That's kind of been proven already that he doesn't know shit about football. So his opinion wouldn't really mean much to me when it comes to football. I think Chris has to do what's smart, and what I think he's doing with all these backs, it's what he did with Jalen Ramsey. He got low-hanging fruit for a third rounder, and that I could see. Worst case scenario, third rounder going that way. Worst case. Maybe a fourth rounder instead. You know what I mean? I just don't. I think that's what he's doing when he calls for all those people. He knows you're dying to get rid of him. He knows you have a problem with him. So he calls you to say, okay, you want to give him away? And, you want to give him away for a third rounder? We'll do that. And that's Jalen Ramsey, which is much more important than Jonathan Taylor. And so that's why and then the track record, bro, nobody's paying for running backs. Nobody's trading for running backs. So why would the Dolphins do that? You see what I'm saying? Why would they trade anything significant or give a significant salary when no one does that anymore for running backs?
Except the one recent precedent actually has ties to Mike McDaniel.
Doesn't count. It doesn't count. They don't have a quarterback. They had to do that to surround the 7th round pick. That's an outlier. Has nothing to do with the rest of the league. They don't pay for quarterbacks there. Jimmy Garoppolo was a $6 million quarterback. Purdy was a 7th rounder. They weren't spending any money, so they can do that.
And Tua right now does not have a big salary in this rookie in this last season of his rookie year contract.
But it's coming. It's a year away. It's a year.
Next year in 22, 23.
Listen, right now you're giving Wilkins, Sealer, Phillips is coming. Phillips is going to be coming up. Waddle's going to be coming up. You got a lot of salaries coming up.
I don't disagree.
Collins coming up. They're in a much different situation than that team would be. The San Francisco situation is a complete outlier to the entire league. You saw what happened with the Giants. You saw what happened with Cincinnati. You saw what happened with the Chargers. You saw what happened with Minnesota. No one. There's lots of running backs available.
Okay.
Lots of them are available. You see what I'm saying?
No, you make a valid point, but it takes, again, it would go against pattern. I'm still of the opinion this is an all-in team with, regardless of what they do, they're going to have some painful decisions to make no more than 2 years down the line. So to me, they're in all-in mode 2023, 2024. And you're right about Stephen Ross doesn't know personnel. Stephen Ross knows big names because he's kind of the one who kind of pushed for the Dolphins to sign Ndamukong Suh. And it wasn't because of his his fantastic pass rushing technique or run defending technique.
No, he won him over at a Red Wings game, dude.
Okay.
That's where Ndamukong Suh sat with Ross, and because Ndamukong Suh does have a personality, no matter what you think, he kind of looks goony and he doesn't say much, but he actually is. He has personality, and he kind of won Ross over, and that's where him and Tannenbaum fell in love with him. So I know the
other part. But the other part too, and I'm sure you'll agree with this. Stephen Ross likes the shiny objects.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay,
yes.
and I'm not
horrible.
Ultimately, you absolutely could be right that it could be a case of let's see if the Dolphins can get him on the cheap, and if not, they move on and no harm done.
That's what I think they keep doing with all these backs, because none of them had landed, and that's because I think he wants low-hanging fruit, and so Saquon, whatever, he offers low-hanging fruit. Hey, you got a disgruntled player, he wants money. Here, we'll give you this at least. I think he just wants to Jalen Ramsey this thing. If he can Jalen Ramsey it, then I believe it. I just don't believe that they're going to give serious compensation. That's the part I have a hard. You know what? Because you know what's next, right? You're going to get a whole bunch of emails now Oh, Chris Greer, fire him. He paid a running back. Nobody pays running backs. That's what's going to happen. That's what's next.
You're not going to make a decision based on what what the fans are going to say.
Oh, I know.
At the very least, yeah, it's completely worthwhile for the Dolphins to make the calls.
For sure.
Throw out an offer, see if the Colts bite, and then go from there.
What's your gut tell you?
I don't know. In a lot of cases, I saw somebody made a good point that the Ravens told Lamar Jackson, go test the market, wound up giving him a new contract. Chargers did the same thing with Austin Eckler, wound up getting a new contract. So I would lean toward eventually they make amends and then they make friends in Indy, and he winds up staying with the Colts.
Yeah, I think he stays there when it's all said and done. They control him. He can't really go anywhere. He can't really, and it's like, okay, you had your chance, and we're not going to just give you away. Even though Chris Greer wants you to give him away, we're not going to give him away. And by the way, Stephen Holder made a very good point today on the show that actually with Anthony Richardson, you need actually Jonathan Taylor more than ever.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And so, which is true with running quarterbacks. And by the way, your running game just improves when you have a running quarterback, because the threat of a Lamar or Richardson, who has those kind of gifts, that's really difficult to defend for defenses. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
the only reason you'd move on is unless you're doing what Arizona's doing, which is basically punting on the season by trading all your former draft picks, high draft picks.
Right. And it is a bad year for them. This is a rebuild year for them. So
correct.
That it is. There's no doubt about it. And for him, I'm sure for Jonathan Taylor, it's like, wow, dude, I'm up to get a contract and I got to deal with this for the next year or two. Yeah, I don't want to deal with this. Yeah. So
correct, because it's not. I don't think the Colts, if they wind up hanging on to him and forcing him to play at his salary, which they certainly can, I doubt they're going to franchise tag him, next off season. So then they're looking at losing him for third round pick compensation or whatever.
Right. Exactly. All right. So what'd you think of Ryan Clark? I've always been a Ryan Clark fan. I was disappointed in his comments because it's like, yo, dude, you're not really hanging around this guy and you don't really know. You can't, if you were next to him, you'd see that his body was a body that was working out, not fat or looks like a stripper or whatever the hell. But I got to tell you something. If you're going to apologize like a man, that's exactly what he did. And I thought that was a absolute perfect apology by Ryan Clark. I think one that was truly remorseful. I thought it was really classy on his part, the way he did it. He took the time, he even talked to Nick Hicks and everything, obviously, to find out, the information and all that kind of stuff. I commend Ryan Clark for a real apology, because we see the half-assed ones. I think that was a real one. I don't know what you think.
I'll give him prop for apologizing. I'm also a Ryan Clark fan. I like him. Yeah. The only part of the apology I did not like is if he used that phrase that I despise in apologies, if it offended you.
Well, it might not have offended some people.
You're questioning the guy's work ethic, saying he didn't take care of his weight training, he didn't take care of his nutrition. That's offensive. And I don't think he had the part to me of like the joke of he's thick and he's got a big butt like the Onyx dancers.
Right.
That to me is like, he is thick and he does have a relatively big butt. I mean, there's nothing terrible about that. When you're questioning the guys, to me, you're crossing the line when you're questioning the guy's work ethic and everything. That's where I didn't like his comment. And the apology again was great, except for the if you were offended part.
Well, because some people don't get offended easily. Some people just like, whatever, move on. And then some people, I'm sure Tuanon got it.
Maybe just a little bit.
I'm sure Tuanon, the best right tackle in the NFL is Tuanon. I'm sure Tuanon lit his ass up like a Christmas tree on social media. So, but I really think it was a real apology. I've seen the half-ass ones. I give him credit, bro. I like Ryan.
No, I do. I'm being picky because I don't like that phrase and apology. But overall, yeah, no. And Ryan Clark is He's always been a straight shooter. Like whenever
Yeah.
he does his spots. I have no major issue with him.
Yeah, no problem there. Your thoughts on practice today? Anything stand out? Some guys were reporting, like Barry, that Tua was pretty sharp.
Yeah, he was very good today.
Who stood out? Who were the recipients of Tua's passes? Who stood out?
And I will say this because I saw somewhere where I had some comments telling me the Tua was great yesterday, and I was like, what the hell practice were you watching? He wasn't great yesterday. Today he was very, very good. So I will say that. He had what he did best today was back shoulder throws in red zone situations. He had a couple of those that were like perfect passes, beautiful throws. He had one to Savon Ahmed. He had one to Tyreek Hill with great coverage from X. Basically, the only place he could put his back shoulder, put it right on the money. Those were really nice. And he had a couple of other nice throws. I can't tell you that I remember them specifically right now. But yeah, he had a very good practice. And what stood out to me, maybe more than anything, was actually the very fun way they ended the last practice of training camp, where they called everybody up after the three horns. They gather, and then they just split up in a line across the field. And then they went one-on-one. James Blackman's the quarterback. And then it's one rookie or first-year player, second-year player against another rookie first-year player. They did 4 reps. It was Eric Azukama against Cam Smith, Elijah Higgins against Keydron Smith, Chris Brooks against Aubrey Miller. And then for last one, they did a little twist, a great twist, which was really fun. They reversed it. They had Kader Kohu play wide receiver, running a pattern against Dawood Davis, the rookie free agent wide receiver, playing cornerback. And that one wound up going incomplete, and then the offensive players all went nuts. Which was a great way to wrap up training camp. Bradley Chubb had another. I mean, he's been balling this week. Woo, man.
Okay.
Van
Did
Ginkel,
the same offensive line start in practice from the preseason game?
maybe.
Oh, you can't say?
I don't
I'm not
think they're
asking you
allowed-
specifically to give me names. I'm just saying that it looked like the
It
same.
sure looked
five-
it looked very, very similar. Yes, it looked very, very similar.
Okay. Where is Eichenberg? Was he on the field?
Eichenberg did Tim Pierce, yes.
Okay. So even interesting if it had the same looks. Okay.
Yeah, but
I
if I were to guess, I would guess Isaiah Wynn's going to be your starting left guard.
Okay. I got one out of the two right. Because I thought Isaiah Wynn would be the left guard, and I thought Kendall Lamb would be moved over to right tackle. But we got to give Austin, I guess, a little credit. He actually has maybe played a little bit more consistent, right?
Austin's been good. I mean, he's had like some minor blips here or there. I'd say overall, he's been good. But Kendall Lamb's going to be your swing tackle, and he's going to start at left tackle if it turns out that Teron Armstead is not ready for the opener against the Chargers.
Right. I think he'll be. That's a tough sumbitch. He'll be there. I think he'll be there. But I really like what I've seen from Kendall Lamb. So this coaching staff has done a really nice job with Kendall.
Well, he's had a bad week though.
Oh, really?
He's had a very, very rough week. And I was with you before this week. I thought dude was great. I mean, really, really, really good at left tackle. This week he's had a rough week.
Wow. What happened?
That's a great question. He's getting beat to the outside. I mean, and pretty handily.
Okay. Is he banged up is a question.
He hasn't missed any reps.
Yeah, no, but I mean, he could be slowed by something that he's trying to fight through. You know what I'm saying?
Except, I think he's done enough to where he doesn't need to be out there if he's not right.
Okay.
Just like Zach Sealer didn't need to be out there yesterday after he banged up his knee a little bit. Even though it's not serious, but why in the hell are you going back in there?
Right. Not a guy that you really need to see that much. He's proven everything, you know what I mean?
He's been great in camp.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's awesome, bro. He's awesome. Nothing on Wilkins, huh?
Mm-mm.
Not hearing anything. Okay. I kind of get the feeling after this week is when it starts to pick up. and then leading, I think like the last week to 10 days leading up to the game, that's when I think we get something finally. And if we don't, then we got to start getting a little nervous about this whole thing. So
why? He's not going to sit out any games. No, what I am hearing is that he's asking for.
Well, you don't want it to linger, is what I mean. It's just not something you want to.
Except that if the difference between what the Dolphins are willing to offer and what Wilkins is asking is like this.
Right. Okay, that's fair.
At some point, I mean, you don't want the Dolphins to budge just because.
Right. No, that's fair.
Because and at this point, it would not shock me necessarily if he began the season without a new contract.
That would be very interesting. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. And, of course, catch him on SI doing his thing, alldolphins.com. What are you working on, young man?
Young man, I like that. I like the sound of that.
We're not really old yet, bro.
No, I'm very young at heart, actually. I'm old, but I'm young at heart.
Exactly.
Practice observations. We discussed the Tua Ryan Clark situation. Omar has the stock report. We have the latest on the Jonathan Taylor trade speculation, and much more to come. We never slow down.
There you go. Poupart NFL on Twitter. Alan, as always, thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend. We will catch up later on.
Sounds like a plan. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, sir. Alan Poupart, there you go. EJD Construction. We love Eric, man. Great people. 305-433-4843. Dade, Broward counties. Not Palm Beach, not Monroe, just Dade and Broward, okay? That's where they handle. And again, AAA rating from the Better Business Bureau, fully insured, liability and workers' comp. So whoever walks onto your property, if they happen to get injured, you will not get sued. By the way, if you don't hire EJD Construction and you hire somebody else, please make sure they're fully insured. Because if somebody gets injured on your property and they're not fully insured, they're going to sue you. You don't need that. So hire people. That's why we have EJD on this platform, Cutter's Edge. And if we would get another company that does some kind of work like that, I would make sure that they're fully insured, because if they're not, I am not going to, support somebody that is not going to take care of you. You know what I mean? I look out for all of you. That's the idea. 305-433-4843, quality work, affordability, shell construction in-house. That's how they keep the cost down. Folks, they do a lot of things that others don't do. One of the things that they do is when they're working on your property, every day they take pictures at the end of the day to show you the progress that's being made. And it's such a cool thing, man. You can even buy an NFT of the work that you do with them. When it's all said and done, they will make an NFT of your finished product. It's amazing. They're a modern company, ejdconstruction.com. They guarantee their work. 305-433-4843.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is your custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
Right. All right. Thank you all for tuning in as always. Hey, you know what we didn't do? What are you laughing about? What are you laughing about? What was funny? What? What's funny?
So, because I hashtag Dolphins, I go there, and this is from a Twitter elite Tua.
Okay.
I look to see if he has any. It says, fan account. Number one Who's fan. Then he breaks it into reporting. The Dolphins are nearing a deal with the Colts to land Jonathan Taylor per sources.
Yeah, per sources.
The exact framework is still being finalized, I'm told. But expect a package centered around Emmanuel Ogbah and a second-round pick. Deal should be official in the coming days.
Although the Emmanuel, so they'll lose a pass rusher, but they'll take a salary off. That would be a lot of fun. I mean, that I could see something like that because they're taking a huge salary off your cap, and then you can kind of work things out. You know what I'm saying? But I
for all I know, maybe he does. It is crazy to me for a fan account to be like sources. I'm being told it like
none of them have any. None of them have any sources.
What is your source?
They're all just talking shit.
Just say I'm guessing.
Nobody cares about you if you're wrong. That's the thing. Nobody's going to go after.
I guess. I just like to me. This is what I would do, or I'm guessing this is what just to say that you got sources and you're being told.
That's funny. Last night we got to give Inter Miami a victory cigar, baby. Do that. And by the way, Perdomo Cigars, 5150 Northwest 167th Street in Miami Gardens. Right when you go by the Palmetto and 57th Avenue, you'll see it right from there. You'll see that big-ass building on the south side, and it says Perdomo Cigars. Don't forget, we got some Perdomo lounges here in Florida. Pompano Beach at the Smoke Inn on Powerline and the Black Dog Cigar Bar in Stuart, Florida. So you can find the Perdomo Lounge. If you're in New York, Smoking Bear Cigars in Steenburg, New York. If you're in Texas, Club Humidor in Thousand Oaks in San Antonio, California. For our friends in West Virginia, Almost Havana Cigar Lounge. It is in Hurricane, West Virginia. How about that? So you can get to a Perdomo Lounge and get a 10th or a 20th anniversary, an Estate Selección. Check it out, man. Perdomo Cigars. Go to perdomocigars.com. And when you're there, tell them that Big O sent you, too, when you go to Perdomo Cigars. It's a beautiful thing. You might see Nick Perdomo there, too. Take a picture with Nick. Hang out with him. It's good stuff. Let's see. Did you see Corey Davis has retired at the age of 28 from the Jets? Now, it's for Dolphin fans out there, I know Garrett Wilson's a hell of a player, but overall, that receiving core didn't scare the hell out of me. Not with the corners Miami has and the safety that Miami has. And so now I see Corey Davis, which is not a guy that I fear because he's not consistent enough, no matter how talented and gifted he is. But, he's been a perennial underachiever his entire career. From the days in Tennessee, all we heard about the potential with Corey Davis, it was never achieved. So they do have Garrett Wilson. He's a good player, no doubt about that. But they also have Alan Lazard, Mecole Hardman, and Tyler Conklin as the tight end. Plus, they have a bad offensive line. Okay? To me, Dolphin fans out there, they are not a concern. I think Miami is so much better that I don't even know if those guys will make the playoffs. They will struggle, I think, to be at 500, to be quite honest. They will struggle to get to the 9th win. Okay? Both the Patriots and the Jets will struggle and will be under that 9-win window. I'm pretty sure of that. That offense, Calf Rogers is going to have some hard time staying healthy with that offensive line. He is going to be running for his life, and he is not the athlete he was, 10 years ago. So, and not that the Corey Davis retirement triggered this. I wasn't really nervous at all about the Jet offense anyway. But it's just one of those things that I kind of want to shed a light because some of you out there, you hear all the hype. And remember, most of the crap that comes out of New York is just a bunch of hot air. That's just all it is, dude. And it doesn't matter what New York team we're talking about or what player or what acquisition or whatever. When it's done there, it's magnified 100 times over, and it really it lacks all substance. And I think the Jets are a team that, it's kind of all about the hype, not really about the substance, to be quite honest. That's just the way I see it. You know what I mean? So it's not a team that you should be concerned about, to be quite honest. I think Miami's offense will be good enough against their defense. I just don't think their offense will be good enough against Miami's defense at all. I think Miami's defense is going to take advantage of that Jet offense. That's what I think is going to end up happening. On a sad note, did you see the Stan Van Gundy news? Jesus, man, he just lost his wife at 61 years. She's 60. She was 61 years old. They had just celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary, and the woman died unexpectedly. Those are like, I mean, listen, you have an illness and you kind of know what's going on and all that, and no, it's never easy, but you're almost kind of prepared for it. You know, like I knew my dad was dying for like years. And then when he passed away, it was terrible, but you kind of knew it was coming. You know what I mean? The unexpected ones, like somebody that's just normal and healthy, and then all of a sudden, like what happened to Bill, like from one, like from one moment to another, Bill was gone in 2 months. And I'm like, what the hell is this, dude? You know, that kind of stuff. So I can't imagine. They've got 4 kids, you know. Just our thoughts and prayers to Stan Van Gundy and his family. As a guy that's been married a long time, longer than him, we're approaching 30, and man, I couldn't even imagine being a day without my wife. So I can't even imagine, going through that hell. All right, let me give you a little music and entertainment news and history. Let's go for it. Here we go. And start off with birthdays today. Let's go. Chad Michael Murray is 42 years old today. One Tree Hill. Let's see. Vince McMahon, your boy, is 78 years old. R&B singer Justin Sky, she is 28. Dave Chappelle is 50. Rocky Johnson, wrestler, you know him? That's the Rock's dad? Oh, okay. So he was born in 44 on this date, died in 2020. So the Rock's dad would have celebrated her birthday today. Alex O'Loughlin is 47 years old. Every TV show he does caves in, and he's had a couple good ones, but they just don't last. Stephen Fry, actor, is 66. Let's see who else. Reggie Miller is 58 years old today. Marlene Matlin, the actress, is 58 years old today. And that's it. Those are famous birthdays today. And let me give you a little bit of music history. In 1968, the Jeff Beck Group, on this date, featuring Rod Stewart on vocals and Ronnie Wood on guitars, released their debut album, Truth. In 1979, on this date, 500,000 fans came out to New York Central Park to see the Cars perform a free show. In 81, Mark David Chapman was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison for the murder of John Lennon. In 94, Dave Abruzzi was fired from Pearl Jam over political differences. Boy, there's a musician that got himself in some political fire, too. In 85, on this date, Huey Lewis and the News had their first number one song, The Power of Love, which was featured in the hit film Back to the Future. It spent 2 weeks on the Hot 100. In 99, on this date, bassist Paul Guizzi McGuigan left Oasis. And in 1990, on this date, a judge in Reno, Nevada, cleared Judas Priest in a $6.2 million civil lawsuit that changed them with putting subliminal suggestions into their music, which caused 2 youths to attempt to kill themselves. That's what happened today in music history. Did you see what Carlos Santana did? Like, ladies and gentlemen, the world is filled with all kinds of people. And you're not going to change what they are and who they are. Just want you to know. I like Santana a lot. I mean, he is just one of the great musicians of all time. I think sometimes, I guess you hide your biases, but then I guess when you're getting old, they come out. And he said something that's incredibly unfair to human beings. And I get it because it's kind of become something new now for a certain group of people. And it's almost like if they don't live the way you want to live, it doesn't make you happy, but you don't give a shit about their happiness. You know what I mean? And so Santana said something incredibly ignorant and stupid in the middle of a concert. He says, when God made you and me before we came out of the womb, you know who you are and what you are. Later on, when you grow out of it, you see things and you start believing that you could be something that it sounds good, but you know it ain't right, because a woman is a woman and a man is a man. That's it. And I had this thing freeze up on me, and I'll read it. And he says, and that's it. Whatever you want to do in the closet, that's your business, and I'm okay with that. And I get it. There's a certain group of people nowadays that want to put Rock Hudson back into his closet and put everybody that's gay back into a closet and don't talk about it. Don't be openly gay, because that bothers me. And it's like, yo, man, we got tall people, we got short people, we got skinny people, we got fat people, got straight people, got gay people, got white, black, yellow, green, blue, orange. When you find the yellows and the greens and the oranges, people, well, no, we do have one running for president, right? No, but seriously, we have people of all shapes, colors, sizes, religions. Let's just be accepting. It may not be your choice, but it's their choice. And if they're happy, why do you want to stick somebody in a closet? It's freaking ignorant, dude. I'm just saying, like Carlos, come on, dude. Dude, come on. It's all kinds of people, man. And maybe he doesn't have anybody gay in his family. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of you out there that you have somebody gay in your family. What are you going to do? Not love them? Not care about them? You know what I mean? I don't have anybody gay in my family, but if I did, it wouldn't change how I feel about them at all. So it's just this whole thing about wanting to put them back into the closet. Like, what are we, in the 1950s? It's some sad shit, bro. Anyway, we're out of here. We thank Franco Panizo. Yes.
Can I offer something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
YouTube Ticket announced their student plan for NFL Sunday Ticket. So if you have a student that's it's $109 for the full season, and you can bundle it with the Red Zone for $10 more. So the requirements are they sign up as the 18 plus, be enrolled as a student at an accredited college university, be verified as a student by Sheer ID, and then YouTube has announced that they will offer the option for individuals who have already purchased NFL Sunday Ticket to switch the student plan by contacting support.
Wow.
So if you know somebody in that fits into that thing,
That's
I'm
very
gonna hook
nice.
you up $109 for the whole season there.
That's not bad. That's not bad. And especially for you Dolphin fans out there that are, live out of town. That's actually a great deal, dude. You get to see the whole season for $109. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Brett Dodger says, R.I.P. Terry Funk, one of the great old school wrestlers. He played a bouncer who got fired in the movie Roadhouse. Oh, he's the guy that was like pissed off with a mustache and like that was him. Yeah, stringy hair. That's the guy, because I remember he was the first guy that Swayze kicks out. And he's like, you'll get your check or some crap or whatever. And then he comes back with the fat guy and the other guy and gets their asses kicked. Actually, right. Yeah. In the Roadhouse. So that was him, huh? I had no idea that was a wrestler.
Yeah, him and his brother Dory Funk Jr. and all them. Yeah, he's around for a long time, man.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. And we're going to go into it more, deep dive into it tomorrow on the Squared Circle Digest.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Tomorrow, Frankie and Sean will get it done. I see Frankie is here. Says, I hope we win. I hope our defense shuts everyone, but I am not going to give props to a team that made solid moves. Pat Asheville says, Sean, do you know if students still need to buy YouTube TV to plan as well? It doesn't state it, right? You said? Yeah, it doesn't state it. So you have to check it out. Check it out, baby. Check it out. All right, man. We are out of here. Hey, we thank all of you out there. Please remember, view hours are very important. So if you can rewatch shows, just leave it playing and walk away or whatever. We need to get to 4,000 hours on this channel as soon as possible. So subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you know when Sean and Frankie go on with the wrestling show. Then you know when we're on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. It'll tell you, because we're on. Only the live show is on this channel. That's it. Everything else will be on the other channel, just like normal. So appreciate all of you out there. We will see you tomorrow morning, live from Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines on the Big O Radio Show live channel. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.